AM. That's it for now, more in an hour.
News Talk weather.
Thanks to Ryanair, we can't guarantee you'll get lucky this Valentine's Day, but we can guarantee the lowest fares with a Ryanair flight to over 200 destinations.
Tomorrow will be largely dry with mist and fog clearing through the morning. The best of any sunny spells will be along southern parts. Highest temperatures 5 to 8 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
The Newsround on Off the Ball.
With Gillette. Put your best face forward with our new and improved razors.
This is News Talk.
All right, you're welcome along. It's Thursday's Off the Ball. Nathan with you until 10 o'clock tonight. We've got a busy show ahead. Caoimhín Kelleher starting in goal for Liverpool in tonight's Carabao Cup semi-final against Arsenal. We keep a close eye on that game. John Giles will be with us as well at 7:30, reflecting on the week's football. Cristiano Ronaldo not too happy with being taken off early from Manchester United last night, and what is going wrong with Chelsea among the topics for John Giles. We'll also touch on what's happening with Everton with John, and also with Greg O'Keefe from The Athletic, who'll join us after 9 o'clock on the football show for a bit of a deeper look onto the malaise that has set in at Goodison Park over the last few years. And between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, while Jeff Reinbold is a very familiar figure from Sky Sports NFL coverage, it is playoff time and he's going to join us after 8 o'clock. They're into what is essentially the last 8. And also we're going to be joined by Dean Mason, who is the Ballyhale goalkeeper ahead of their All-Ireland Club semi-final this weekend. 53106 is the text number. Add Off the Ball if you want to get in touch on Twitter. Richie McCormick, good evening.
Young Nathan, how are you?
I am alright. You wearing a Christmas jumper?
No, I'm wearing my New York Jets. Joe Namath
that's
jersey.
Okay. I thought it's alright if you want to wear a Christmas jumper, you know, Richie. It's fine. I wouldn't have judged you, but no, that's acceptable. Joe Malloy?
You absolutely would have judged me.
Clearly, but you know, I would have politely moved on. Joe Malloy, how are you?
He'd have gotten an entire news round out of that one, Richie.
Absolutely. So Dean Mason coming up in just a little while. He's at 21 years of age. He's the goalkeeper with Ballyhale Shamrocks. His record ain't bad. He got the call off Henry Shefflin when he's like 17, 18. Henry at that stage is the Ballyhale manager. Any chance you come in, which is, you know, living the dream to start with. And then, since then, he's won every single club championship game he's played. 4 Kilkenny titles, Leinster titles, 2 All-Ireland titles, going for a 3rd straight All-Ireland title. It doesn't get much better than that, Joe.
Not bad. It's a bizarre position. Is it one of the most, if not the most bizarre positions in world sport, being a hurling goalkeeper?
For a long time, it did feel it was hit it as far as you can, as hard as you can. Whereas now, obviously, it has changed completely in that puck-out strategies are crucial to every great team. But yeah, you need to be a little bit insane to have a schlitter coming at you at about 130 miles an hour and to put your body on the line. I know there's the Peter Schmeichel, spread yourself, make yourself as big as possible. But dear God, anyone who's got a puck of a hurl or schlitter on a cold winter's night, whew, no thank you.
No, thank you. And like, we're talking about the modern era now where, well, you couldn't say there's much protection. And there's cups around the more delicate, important regions, because Joe Quaid is on the show next week. I was having a look at Joe Quaid's Lake Regale, which is going out on the 3rd of February. And Joe Quaid is, of course, part of the Quaid dynasty, where his father, Jim, played for Limerick, and Jim had a twin brother, Jack, who played for Limerick. And so Jim had Joe, played for Limerick. Jack had Tommy, who played in goal for Limerick for 18 years. And, of course, Tommy is Nicky's father, Nicky in goal at the moment. So in Joe's case, Joe took over from his cousin Tommy, who, like I said, had been in goal for 18 years. And in his first season, wins an All-Star. That was the famous Offaly All-Ireland final where they won it at the death. And then they were beaten by Clare in 95. And then they went again in 96. And they got to another All-Ireland final. And they lost this time to Wexford. And again, Joe got an All-Star. And in 1997 against Laois, this is a well-known story, obviously everybody, I'm sure of a certain age knows it, but there was a penalty and ball took a bounce and just missed his hurl as he was going in to try and save it and hit him in the testicles. And if you're of a sensitive disposition, maybe move away from the radio for the next minute or two. But the word that Joe Quaid uses in the Lake Regale about what happened is that his testicle exploded. That is the word that he used. It was absolutely a devastating moment, devastating injury. What I hadn't realised about the story is that he asked to come off and he ended up finishing the game.
What?
Which is a new piece of information to me. Yeah, so he somehow finishes the game and he is in agony. He is in agony. And in the dressing room afterwards, he's having a shower and he goes to the doctor and shows the doctor the full extent of the situation. And the doctor takes one look at the area and says, you need to go to the hospital right now. He went to the hospital immediately. Now, he does admit he stopped on the way at McDonald's.
Sometimes you just need some chicken nuggets.
Which apparently slowed the operation by several hours because he'd eaten too recently.
No.
And he had to be operated on.
Joe.
Yeah, lost the... Am I gone?
No, you're there. Sorry, I'm saying Joe Quaid. What are you doing, Joe? Don't stop at McDonald's.
Sorry, I thought you were bemoaning my Wi-Fi. He went to McDonald's and the doctor walked in the hospital, looked at him and said, ouch. And he tells the story very well. Yeah, he went and called another doctor in. And the second doctor, I kid you not, according to Joe Quaid, said, does that hurt? To which Joe confirmed it did indeed hurt. And he had the operation and thankfully, look, he lost the testicle. Thankfully, he was able to have kids, had 4 kids. And but the really amazing, interesting thing is he's only played 3 years seniors, won 2 All-Stars. This happens early 97. By his own admission, he went back and he kept playing and played inter-county. And he remembers a moment where somebody was in on goal a couple of year or two later. And we wouldn't have noted this moment as onlookers. But Joe remembers the shot was taken, and when Joe landed, he had his back to the player who took the shot, and he realised something had changed. A loss of nerve, maybe, is the way to put it. I mean, I think it's a miracle he put himself in front of a sliotar ever again. But so when we say it's a mad position, it's a mad position.
Wow, that is a heck of a story. So that's coming up next week.
Yeah, Tuesday, I think. Yeah,
he is one of the great hurling men, and still has that passion there, going up to Kildare, up to Westmeath, just absolutely lives it and loves it. Wow, I never realised that I guess, how could it not affect you in that way? You do look at hurling goalkeepers, and as you say, they do have the cups now. Like, they should nearly be wearing a bulletproof vest. Like,
full body armour, I think.
Something. Now, that'd be us lads who didn't play hurling. Probably a little bit soft is what they'd be thinking. But yeah, the bravery that you need to play in that position. There's probably a documentary down in Limerick on the great goalkeepers of the last 50 years, not named Quaid. The lads who've been ripping it up in the club championship and this is surely the year. I'm going to get the call. What's the name? Malloy? Nah, you're fine. You can be the sub if you want, but we're kind of sorted. There's about 6 more Quaids on the way, so we're sort of done. We're okay in that position. It's just fine.
Well, Joe's son plays for the Limerick under-19s. I'll let you guess the position. So it's utterly incredible. It's a dynasty, and there hasn't been a decade since the 1950s where a Quaid hasn't played for Limerick of that family.
It's mad.
Yeah, the 2 brothers, Jim and Jack, who only died in the last year, actually, in their late 80s, and then Joe talked about that on Tuesday. They didn't die of COVID, but he certainly feels COVID, it slowed them down and took away. They were very active men and they couldn't be as active, and he felt maybe hastened their demise. Right. But yeah, the twin brothers, Jim and Jack, begot Joe and Tommy, and then Nicky is there now, and Joe's son is playing for the 19s. So it's absolutely extraordinary, like beautiful, but it's incredible.
All right, so that coming away next week. Dean Mason, who's at a very different stage of his career, who I say is just starting out with Ballyhale. They play St Thomas's of Galway, where I'm sure Henry Shefflin, he won't have mixed emotions at all. I'm sure he's absolutely hoping that Ballyhale go and win that game, but we'll probably be keeping a closer eye on the St Thomas's players. And we also use the chance when we're talking to Dean, when we're talking about family dynasties, to go back to Tommy Walsh's family tree of Ballyhale, where it turns out they're all sort of related, and even the Shefflins and the Fennellys and Brian Cody, an outsider for Ballyhale, there's a first cousin relationship there somewhere. So it's not surprising that Ballyhale are maybe the greatest hurling club that we have ever seen. So he's coming up between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. But there is live football once again. Richie and Alison is available. It's a cup semi-final, but Caoimhin Kelleher, come on down.
Yeah, Pep Blinders has called this Queeveen's Cup, and a place in the Carabao Cup final awaits either Arsenal or Liverpool tonight. The sides are goalless heading into the second leg of their semi-final at the Emirates. Aaron Ramsdale starts in goal for the hosts, who appear to have a clean bill of health after last week's postponement. Takahiro Tomiyasu, Ben White, Gabriel and Kieran Tierney are their back four. Albert Salmi Lakonga and Martin Odegaard sit in midfield. In front of them, the trio of Bukayo Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe and Gabriel Martinelli, with Alexandre Lacazette starting up front. For Liverpool, Kelleher, as you mentioned, starting in goal. A back four, as we might have imagined, like Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson. In midfield, then we've got the trio of Fabinho, Jordan Henderson and Curtis Jones. 17-year-old Cade Gordon starts up front alongside Diogo Jota and Roberto Firmino, and kickoff is at 7:45.
Yeah, it's a real endorsement of Caoimhín Kelleher. I know it's not unusual, it's the Carabao Cup, there is rotation, and Jurgen Klopp probably feels I need to put him in on these sort of occasions, but still, it's a cup semi-final in a year when, well, Jurgen Klopp hasn't given up. It looks highly unlikely they're going to win the league. You hope it all works out for Caoimhín Kelleher. We saw with Galini for Spurs last week. You are looking at the end of the game saying, why would you not play Hugo Lloris? But it does show exactly where Caoimhín Kelleher is. While he is second, he's a second who Jurgen Klopp trusts, Joe.
Absolutely, yeah. This is the stage of the competition where the Caoimhín Kellers of the world have the difficult conversation with the manager, isn't it? Thanks for getting us so far. These are big nights. It's important to the fans. We've got to win a competition. So, you know. And instead, he's been given the nod. So I really hope it goes well for him this evening. And, you know, the predicament for Caoimhín Kelleher has been whether to move and try and get first team football or to sit on the bench at Liverpool. But I think, you know, he's just been drip fed maybe enough top level football this season to very much have justified this season. I saw Shay Given a while back saying he'd be banging on Klopp's door to go out and loan and go out and play more football. He's maybe just about getting enough. So fingers crossed tonight goes well from, I guess, the other big talking point around this game. Well, sorry, there's the real world and then there's, you know, the official world. But in the real world, everyone's just talking about this yellow card Arsenal situation, which is extraordinary story and investigation underway.
So we can't speculate on it. I was going to say, because it's all over. I was commentating on the match that was is in question at the time, and I don't remember it in any way, but I was looking at online as to where they're saying it happened. I don't think there's much we can say about it, but it will open a massive can of worms if somehow this was proven that the player in question was booked on purpose for betting reasons. So it could well end up being one of the most interesting stories in football for a long time if this is proven. It's a 7:45 kickoff, Richie, for this. Arsenal over the next couple of weeks could be one of the most interesting clubs in terms of the transfer window. Even now you look at that Arsenal team and think, God, it's exciting, it's refreshing. Ben White seems to be justifying as much as you can that 50 million price tag at the back. Aaron Ramsdale's been a bit of a revelation in goal, and the likes of Smith-Rowe, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, those four playing behind Lacazette tonight is as exciting a young attacking force as you've got around football at the moment in terms of their potential.
Yeah, their midfield is in trouble though, and they need an addition in there, I would say, before the window comes to be closed in a few days.
Well, that's the bit that could be interesting in terms of they're talking about bringing in Arthur from Juventus and also Dusan Vlahovic, who's been ripping it up. I know he didn't do a huge amount when we saw him play for Serbia against the Republic of Ireland, but at club level for Fiorentina, to go and invest at a time when fourth position really seems up in the air, and maybe go and spend 70-80 million quid in the January transfer window would be enormous backing for Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, but they need a midfielder, and neither of those I don't think would fit the role that they currently need to be occupied in there. And it looks like, if I look at that team, I don't think Martin Odegaard is going to play as deep as that starting 11 suggests, and looks like they'll have four in behind Lacazette, with Sambi Lakonga essentially acting as a lone midfielder. There's a chance that Arsenal get overrun in midfield. There's also a chance that front five really caused Liverpool's back four problems tonight and managed to pin Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson back in a way that they don't like doing, and therefore creating chances for themselves and putting this tie to bed pretty early. But it's going to be I'd imagine it's going to be a pretty open tie from the get-go. Yeah,
we're waiting for the great Carabao Cup semi-final to arrive. It never really came between Chelsea and Spurs or in the first leg last week, but maybe this is the one. 7:45 kickoff. The African Cup of Nations then, Algeria, who many people's favourites, the defending champions, they're gone.
They are indeed. They finished bottom of their group after a 4-1 defeat to Ivory Coast this afternoon. Ivory Coast topped that group and will play Egypt in the last 16 in what's a pretty mouth-watering tie. Sierra Leone lost 1-0 to Equatorial Guinea this afternoon and missed a late penalty that would have sent them through as one of the best third-place sides. Instead, Little Comoros will play host Cameroon in the last 16. Equatorial Guinea will play whoever finishes top of Group F tonight. As things stand, that will be Mali, who lead Mauritania by a 0-0. The other game in Group F at the moment remains goalless between Gambia and Tunisia.
The Newsround brought to you by Gillette. You can put your best face forward with our new and improved razors. So the Australian Open, a little bit of controversy today, for once not involving Novak Djokovic.
Yeah, the men's second seed, Daniil Medvedev, has accused the Australian Open crowd of having a low IQ. The Russian made the claim after beating home favourite Nick Kyrgios in 4 sets today. Crowds in Melbourne have taken to mimicking Cristiano Ronaldo's celebration in the stands, something Medvedev and others have confused with boos. By the time he faced his post-match press conference, the Russian was in a calmer mood.
And yeah, the only thing is that, between first and second serve, that's where, it's tough. It's not good for the game, I think, to do it, because probably people don't know, but when you're getting ready for the second serve, it's a tough moment, and I think people should respect both players and just don't talk in these moments. If not during the match, it's not easy to be there when the whole stadium is against you. But probably if I will look at it on the TV, I'm probably not going to do it tonight, but maybe after the tournament, I'm going to be like, wow, that's a great atmosphere for a tennis match.
This Cristiano Ronaldo shoe celebration, I missed this for many, many years until my 3-year-old daughter was running around the house doing it quite recently, and I realised this was a big thing. Has this always been Cristiano Ronaldo's celebration?
Not always. It has come in the last few years. I could definitely recall it being a thing during his time at Juventus. I don't remember the big exclamation that went along with it and the whole crowd joining in, but ever since he's gone back to Manchester United, it has exploded in popularity to the point where, like, even Nick Kyrgios mimicked it after his first round win as well the other day. So, the Australian Open crowd are boisterous at the best of times. This has just given them extra incentive to annoy people who are playing on court.
I thought maybe Sue was Portuguese for yes, but Ronaldo said that everyone would say si after he scored, and for some reason he started saying Sue, and it just took off from there. So now it's become his trademark.
What?
He's probably going to actually trademark it too.
I presume.
Follow this. Cristiano Ronaldo's celebration.
So when he does the celebration and he spins around and he throws the arms back, shouts Sue, which I never realised. I never knew this was the thing. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't really mean anything. He just made it up.
Well, doesn't
therefore he can trademark it.
About the times we're living in. Well, how idiotic? What? Sorry, I'm not getting into it. Andy Murray thought they were booing him as well, actually. So Andy Murray walked off the court, thought they were booing him. So are they all just midpoint?
How's it happening at the stadium? I can understand little kids copying if they're playing a match and they score a goal and you want to do the celebration, like the way Joe Malloy would have been, dancing around the corner flag back in the day.
Yeah.
But what are they doing at the Australian Open? Do people just randomly shout it out?
Yeah, pretty much. They'll break into it in shouts of shoe as they're wont to do, like the same way they'd shout Aussie, 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 that kind of stuff that goes around the courts there. But yeah, it's just, and it makes no sense.
Whose dog is that?
Much like Richie's dog, the crowd shout at just random.
Here we go. Do you know what, Richie? This is a setup. He's been watching Tommy Rooney with Bailey. He's been watching Hank come on with Will O'Callaghan, and Richie wants to go, no, I've got the cutest dog of all.
No, she's gone. She wants to get out of the room.
Oh, really? I thought you got to give the listeners and the viewers, that little bit of cuteness, Richie.
I was trying to hear there was no one else in the house, so now that they're the gang are back, she's gone back downstairs.
The madness has returned. Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
Okay, so is this going to be a thing that we're going to have to get used to at Irish sports grounds?
Yeah.
Right. It's rather depressing. I thought it was going to be more exciting, the actual story behind it, but it turns out it's not exciting at all. Andy Murray's gone?
Yeah, he is. His tournament was ended in 3 straight sets by the Japanese qualifier Taro Daniel. Daniel will play 11 seed Yannick Sinner in round 3. Emma Raducanu suffered from blisters on a racket hand as she fell to a 3-set defeat to Danka Kovinic. The US Open champion said a COVID layoff prior to the tournament led to those problems today.
Been struggling with blisters since I started playing really in Australia, because I 21 days no tennis, my hands got pretty soft, and from day one, day two, I was getting blisters pop up here and there. But this particular one has been with me for about 5 days, and I've been trying to like tape it for every practice, and it would like harden and dry out, but then once I would play again, like another layer would just keep ripping off. So it ended up being pretty deep. But I mean, it's a bit annoying because I know it's something that will heal in like a few days, but it's just unfortunate timing.
Yeah, really is. And sounds pretty painful, to be honest. Not the sort of thing you can just play through.
Like, I'm sure there'll be a former Good Morning Britain and Daily Mirror editor who might queue up to tell her to toughen up or something. But like, it's there was bloody sore. That is bloody sore. And do you know the worst part is the pain? But I think, unfortunately, there's some part of your brain when it knows it's about to feel the pain again, when you're about to strike the ball, that just somehow half pulls out of the shot, or manipulates things without you even, with the best will in the world. You want to just play how you would normally play, but I think
she completely had to change her game today. She completely had to change her game. She was playing all these kind of chip forehands, and she wasn't able to really put the leather on a forehand properly. And when she did, at one stage during the middle of the second set, there was an audible yelp that wasn't just your average tennis player playing a shot. It was a cry of pain. And then shortly afterwards, the change of ends, she was sitting down, having the thing wrapped up again. Like, to do it with your racket hand and to have it, as she says, with a blister that deep, is painful. I know Murray suffered with him as well with his feet pretty regularly, and I think he has done in this tournament too. I'm not saying it was behind today's defeat, but it's definitely, like, it's an issue. If they flare up when you're playing in 30-odd degree heat in a hot stadium, it's not pleasant.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, live, Richie McCormick tears on air.
Yeah. English League One side, MK Dons appear close to signing Dawson Devoy from Bohemians. The midfielder was named PFAI Young Player of the Year last season, and the Dons this week signed Devoy's Republic of Ireland under-21 teammate Conor Coventry on loan, having also taken Troy Parrott on loan from Tottenham. The Dons have met Bo's buyout clause even, as Devoy was one of 11 players to sign up for the 2022 season.
Yeah, it's a huge blow for Bohemians, big blow for the league as well, Richie. As you say, Young Player of the Year, one of the most exciting young players in the league. But I guess that's the business model.
It is, yeah. And like, I'm not thinking that they'll get too much money out of this. I mean, the example highlighted by Neil O'Riordan today in the Sun was it was 150 grand in the round that Sligo pocketed from Johnny Kenny going to Sligo. I don't think that Bo's, like, with the best hopes in the world, I don't think they're going to get similar money for Dawson. I would keep my fingers crossed that they do, because it'd be much needed, and they need to really stock up on players before February 18th and the season starts. Because it's been a summer. I was going to say a summer, but it's been a winter of outgoings. Like, Ross Tierney's gone to Motherwell, Georgie Kelly isn't coming back to the league at all. Rob Cornwell's gone to the US, Keith Buckley's gone to Australia, and Andy Lyons might be heading off to the UK too. So they've been bludgeoned in terms of their squad and really need to restock.
Do you want to see if I can get your Rover season ticket, Richie? Come watch some good football. Not on the first day of the season, obviously, but you know.
Just got sick of my mouth there.
Yeah. Oh, God, that better be overturned, by the way. Like, outrageous decision. But anyways, Richie, we got time for one more story. Shane Lowry, Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, indeed. He is 5 shots off the lead and best of the Irish after day one of the Abu Dhabi Championship. 4 shots indeed off the lead on 5 under par. Rory McIlroy shot a level par round of 72 today. Padraig Harrington is a shot worse off on 1 over. Jonathan Caldwell, he's 3 over. He still has 3 holes to complete of his first round tomorrow morning. Scott Jameson of Scotland heads the field on 9 under par.
All right, thanks a lot, Richie. The latest episode of Golf Weekly is live right now. Get on to otbsports.com/Golf Weekly. Sign up on the Patreon. Gary Murphy was on this week once again. He's actually over in Abu Dhabi. He was following a lot of the players around for work this afternoon, so he sort of brought us up to date with that and everything else that's going on. It's a cracker once again, Joe.
We're in great form 2022, Richie. You'll be glad to hear it.
He won't hear it, but you're glad of it, I'm sure, no doubt. Joe, thank you.
Comforting to know its existence.
Exactly. Joe, good stuff. Richie, right, thank you. So, time for the cash machine.
Your chance to win big. News Talk's cash machine.
And there was no winner in our News Talk cash machine, so we've bumped up the prize on offer once again. Wowzers, 20,740. Remember, if you get that call, it's 20,743 euro and 15 cent. Text play to 575